Donald Trump claims that he's not weird, so I have a collection of clips for you today that all support the MAGA weird theory. The theory that Donald Trump and all of the people he surrounds himself with are absolute freaks that don't understand how to interact with normal humans. I mean, think about it. Rudy Giuliani was caught on camera in the movie Borat 2 trying to sleep with a 16-year-old, then he went on to ruin the lives of many innocent people with his election fraud lie. Same with Mike Lindell. He ruined many lives, and he bankrupted himself trying to kiss up to Trump. He didn't just kiss the ring, he sucked the ring off of Donald Trump's finger. Leave a like on this video and let's dig into some of these clips. This first one is of Donald Trump trying to kiss a little girl and she pulls away not once but twice. As the video goes on, it gets increasingly more awkward. There's the first one, and that could be written off as a mistake if he didn't do it again just 5 seconds later, and it gets more awkward and more cringe, and this is a repeated pattern with Donald Trump. He does it again in this clip. We'll play that in 1 second, but first, I want to play for you guys this montage of Donald Trump saying creepy stuff about Ivanka, and it gets worse and worse as it goes on. Just wait.
Yet at times, his fatherly praise is downright cringeworthy, like on The View in 2006.
I said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird! Stop it! You know what? You are sick.
Far from protecting his daughter from being talked about as a sex object, he has encouraged it multiple times. On Howard Stern's radio show in 2004 and then again in 2006.
By the way, your daughter...
She's beautiful.
Can I say this? A piece of ass.
Yeah.
She looks more voluptuous than ever.
She's actually always been very voluptuous. She's tall. She's almost 6 feet tall.
In May, Ivanka described herself as a feminist while defending her father on CBS after a scathing New York Times article about his alleged negative treatment of women.
Is there unending commentary on the female form?
No. I've known my father obviously my whole life, and he has total respect for women.
Please welcome the lovely Ivanka Trump.
Still, even Ivanka seemed confused when talk show host Wendy Williams asked about things the two have in common.
What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
Alright, this is weird. This is weird as hell. This is some actual Freudian stuff. I mean, Freud had a theory that people were attracted to people who resembled their parents, but it seems to be in reverse here. Donald Trump also has this odd fixation on blonde women, so maybe his daughter reminds him of his mom in some roundabout way. I don't know, I'm psychoanalyzing like I'm Freud here, but I do think that Donald Trump has an obsession with blonde women, even at his rallies. My cameraman and I have had weird moments where we look around and we notice that every single woman who is working at the rally as someone who hands out press passes or somebody who helps with security or somebody who helps guide people around, they are all blonde women, young blonde women who look kind of like Ivanka. It is incredibly creepy, and I'm not making it up. Let's keep watching.
Can't relate that.
Donald Trump has always been proud of his daughter.
I'd call collect to his office. I was probably, 10 years old. He would pick up the phone every single time, and he'd put me on speakerphone. It wouldn't be a long conversation. He'd introduce me to whoever was in his office.
And he was front row when Ivanka took to the catwalk during her short-lived career as a fashion model. Still, Donald Trump repeatedly points out how hot his daughter is, saying last year in a Rolling Stone article, "Yeah, she's really something, and what a beauty, that one. If I weren't happily married and, her father."
What does that ... mean? I mean, there is more to the clip, but to get to a little bit more serious accusations against Donald Trump, he's been credibly accused of sexual assault over 25 times and also been held civilly liable for rape. He had an entire court case where people said that there was enough evidence to find him liable for raping E. Jean Carroll, and then he continued to defame her. Donald Trump has also been close friends with Jeffrey Epstein. He wrote on his jet many times. MAGA likes to make so many conspiracy theories about everything in the book, about Bill Gates, about every single rich person, except for Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein being together, and Elon Musk. It's kind of weird that they make all of these conspiracy theories about left-wing billionaires controlling everything, but then Elon Musk buys a social media platform, controls everything, posts AI videos, and bans liberal people who call him out, but there's no conspiracy theories going on there. In this next clip, Donald Trump kisses another girl who is under 18 And it's just more awkward than the first one. I didn't know it could get more awkward, but take a look. Just so weird. Look, is that snot running down his nose? It genuinely looks like there's sweat or snot. I mean, this is probably before he gave an unhinged speech, but this was a few years back, so it wasn't nearly as unhinged and gaffe-filled as they are today, because nowadays, Donald Trump is at a new level with his January 6th apologism, his racism, his doubling down on every single gaffe that he makes. This article reads, Donald Trump's presidential campaign has been peppered with casual misogyny, from his comments about Megyn Kelly bleeding from her wherever to the misguided idea that, quote, women get it better than we do, and also saying stuff about grabbing women by the you-know-what, passing national abortion bans. I mean, you can look farther than Donald Trump's rhetoric. Donald Trump's actions, the things that he's actually done on the ground in this country, hurt women of color disproportionately. Donald Trump genuinely does not care. If he had it his way, women would be in the kitchen all the time. Anyone who's paid attention to Trump over the years knows he has a long history of treating women badly. Has any other presidential candidate been accused of marital rape? The New York Times has published a fascinating feature comprised of interviews with, quote, dozens of women who had worked with or for Mr. Trump over the past 4 decades in the worlds of real estate, modeling, pageants, women who had dated him or interacted with him socially, and women and men who had closely observed his conduct since his adolescence. What was it like to work with him? Well, if you're overweight, he'll be sure to mention it. And if you're with hearing distance, you'll learn all about his sexual prowess. That is classic Donald Trump. Also classic Donald Trump. He posted this when he was back on Twitter, and while he was president, he said, I've done more for women, in all caps for some reason, than just about any president in history, again in all caps. As we celebrate the 100th anniversary of women's voting rights, we should build a beautiful statue in Washington, D.C. to honor the many brave women who made this possible for our great country. And obviously he is just bluffing. He was the president. He never did that. He just knew he needed to throw out some vacuous rhetoric that didn't mean anything. Meanwhile, Donald Trump was appointing far-right Supreme Court justices that would strip the rights away from millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of women across this country. Something that was precedent for decades and decades, 50 years, 60 years, is now gone, and women will suffer for who knows how long until we are able to codify this with a Democratic president and Democratic Senate. That is why it's so important that we get out, we mobilize, make sure you have a plan to vote, make sure you double check if you're registered, make sure the people around you and your life know how to vote. If you have a parent or if you have a kid, I know I have people of all ages that watch me, so make sure the people in your life are registered to vote and have a plan to mobilize. Make sure they understand the threat and you can explain it in a succinct way. It is more important than ever that we get out and we don't get complacent like 2016, because again, Donald Trump won by tens of thousands, a very slim margin, 5,000, 10,000 votes in some of these key swing states. So if you live in a swing state, you could be that deciding vote, genuinely. Make sure you leave a like on this video, make sure you comment a blue heart, go join the Mockler subreddit and Discord. We are building a beautiful community heading into this election where we laugh together, cheer together, cry together, panic together as we go through all of these major historic events back to back to back. But most importantly, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.